Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shawna's Miraculous podcast. Today, I'm excited to welcome Mr. Christopher Hughes. Hey,
Hi,
Chris.
everybody.
For those of you who do not know Christopher Hughes, he's joining me from Australia and brings a wealth of experience in the world of access consciousness, facilitation, voice, bodies, and relationships. You also have a podcast called In Between the Sheets, a podcast about sex.
Yep.
Uh, I would listen to it while I was traveling. Um, and also, Chris, you are a facilitator of Being You, Truth About Sex, Leaders of the Future, Access Body Processes, Access Bars. You are an Access certified facilitator. And so you are the head of Right Voice for You. So you can do facilitator training and classes. And you're also the manager of the Antique Guild. You're also the vice president of ADAA and the creator of The Elegance of Living. So,
I've done
well,
lots of things.
yes. Yep. And you also have the class that you're doing with Gary right now. It is Sex, Yes, When.
Yes. So you'll notice a common theme. There's a lot of sex in the mix.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is perfect because today our topic on the podcast is sex.
How does it get any better? I'm excited to talk about sex with you, Shauna.
Woohoo. Yeah. Like it was so cool. I was having a conversation with a friend because I know you and I had talked before like a while ago, and I did invite you, and then I invited you just recently because I was chatting with a friend, and it was just such a fun conversation and everything, and I was like, oh, I gotta call Chris and see if he wants to do an episode.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for hopping on. Well, should we just kind of like hop to the questions?
Absolutely. Let's launch in. So you have questions that people have sent in for us?
Yep, there were two people.
Awesome.
Well, also like I noticed that um like sometimes like questions aren't sent in, but I noticed a lot of people really when it came to the topic of sex, they were just like kind of clutching their pearls or they were like, "Oh no, I'm not even going to go there." Uh like I wonder what's up with that because to me it's a very fun, healthy, amazing conversation. Like I wonder what like you're aware of when people just jump away from that topic.
I think regardless of the society that we were raised in or how progressive a family you had, there still is just so much shame attached to sex.
Hmm.
You know, people are ashamed of their bodies or their introduction to the topic of sex was so like riddled with judgment that they think there's something wrong. You know, it's like some people are embarrassed of farts and some people just go, "Hey, it's natural," or "But everyone does it. What's the big deal?" You know, you either are filled with shame and fear and guilt and judgment, or you're like, "Hey, this is how life starts. This is something that we can do to be kind to one another and express joy and kindness." It's
Hmm.
up to you to choose which path you want to take.
That's cool. Cool. Yeah, it was interesting when that topic came up. Okay, so yeah, we can hop into the questions. I'll just go with what like the first person who sent in theirs was uh what advice would you give someone who is inexperienced and feels like they don't know what they're doing? And there's a couple more after that. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. You want me to launch in, or what would you like to say?
Um, yeah, you can launch in. Yep.
Cool. Well, the only way to remedy inexperience is get some experience. Like, and make sure that that's what you really want. Because, like I said earlier, sex has so many like judgments and points of view attached to it, and we have been filled with projected messages from day dot about what sex should be, or like how right you are if you're slutty, and how right you are if you're a virgin, and how wrong you are if you're slutty, and how wrong you are if you're inexperienced. So all of that is just point of view. You got to figure out, what do you really want here? Like, don't judge yourself for being inexperienced. This might be an exciting place to start. So you get to explore what it is you really want. Like, if there was no rule book and you could have a sexual reality that worked for you, what would that look like?
Hmm.
And ask, I really believe the universe is a benevolent and generous place. So ask for what you'd really like. What is it that you'd really like as your reality with sex if no one else's point of view is relevant?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, I think you did touch on it very well when you said there's a lot of hesitation. Well, like there's judgment, which could create a hesitation where people are like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." And then so it kind of goes into this kind of the second part where she was saying the question was like, um, so basically, my friend was saying that she wants everything to be perfect and right for her partner, but actually freezes because she wants her partner to experience and feel the same way she does. So it's like,
Hmm. Yeah. The thing with that is your experience and your partner's experience are always going to be different. If you're a kind lover and are doing it to be generous and to have that like beautiful exchange that can occur where you are gifting to someone and receiving from the gift and then allowing them to gift to you and receiving from that, there is a beautiful exchange, as I say there, but your experiences are still always going to be different. Like, please don't judge yourself for not doing a good job or not being the kind of lover that you want to be. One thing I always say to people is the best sex toy out there possible is communication. You've got to be able to talk to your partner and see what's working for them, see what is fun for them, see what parts of their bodies they love to have explored and touched, and go from there. Um, the people that I've noticed that the people that are willing to communicate about sex and talk about it are the ones having the most fun with it.
yeah, I think I think yeah, I agree that it is a conversation and it can like it's a fun it's kind of like a practice in like kind of knowing like can this person receive everything you want to say and like what is the conversation there like because I know one person who really just does not is not maybe is asexual just doesn't want to have sex or they don't want to talk about it or be touched and so sometimes it's like very interesting because like you know um I'm a touchy-feely person, so I always want to like hug the person or touch them, and it's very interesting because I also know they can't receive that. So it's like sometimes it's like looking at that in a like seeing if there's an opening for that conversation rather than kind of being a bit of a bulldozer and being like, like it's I think it's knowing someone's boundaries as well, and like it can be kind of daunting to maybe have those conversations like or do you know like if there's another way to open up the conversation if it's very like I almost get like a freeze energy where people get frozen around this and can be difficult to talk about.
Look, compatibility is a thing. And we're not all going to work together. And if you go beyond just sex and actually are starting to talk about relationships, it's a much bigger picture as well. The the lie that we've all been told about compatibility is that one day your prince will come, or princess if you prefer. We think there's going to be this person that's going to fulfill us, that's going to meet all of our needs sexually, economically, socially, recreationally, all of that. And it's as though we're this puzzle piece walking around looking for someone who fits just right. And I think that's a bit of a I'm looking for the word, but it's unfortunate that we've been taught to believe that because I think if we let go of that, we could save ourselves a lot of trauma and drama.
Hmm.
You may find people out there that do fulfill a lot of what you're looking for, and maybe not everything. Um, like you're talking about your asexual friend. That's the reason why I bring this up. That person might be a lot for you and bring you a lot of joy. But if your needs go beyond what they can provide, then why is it wrong to have that fulfilled by somebody else? Rather than we need this all to come from one person, like you may enjoy them so much and enjoy them romantically, and that's reciprocated, but they can't provide for you sexually and physically what you actually require.
Hmm.
So you get that somewhere else.
Yeah, that's that's yeah, it's so interesting how because earlier you'd also mentioned like that whole give and take, and one of the conversations was like if I could just like completely take that out of my world, because that give and take where it's like you have a ledger and you're like, well, uh if you kiss me I have to kiss you back type of thing. It's like, what if that just did not exist, and like you said, you were just kind of with people and present and able to receive and not have this like demand on the person that, yeah, to give, for them to give you what, like that whole kit and caboodle type of thing, like
Yeah. When I've had the most, let me backtrack a little bit, but like I've had periods of my life where I've been looking for my person. And then I've met people and made them the one and the answer and the source of my happiness. And I would be so invested in their approval of me and what they thought and what was going on for them. And I spent so much time focused on them, I really lost me.
Mhm.
And when I broke that cycle is when I finally realized, oh, I found my person. It's me. You've really got to be your own person. And when someone comes along that contributes to that and is fun and adds to the picture, great. But if you are making them your person, you've got to function from need, which is like that internal scarcity and lack and insecurity that most people are carrying around with them. It's not wrong. It's nothing to be ashamed of. No one's taught us to be whole and to actually like who we are.
Mhm. Wow.
And so then sex, when you actually like who you are, you're not afraid to ask for what works for you and what you desire, from my point of view.
That's really cool. It's kind of like, yeah, I totally get that. Um, I that's like so much right there. So, um, so the third part of that question is, I mean, I think we may have already answered it too, or talked to it, because the other part is what happens when we stop trying to perform, get it right, or create the perfect experience and instead become curious about what our partner actually desires and what is possible together. So it's kind of like we may have already touched on that. That's
Yeah, absolutely.
um and then yeah, like yeah, I think that's really cool because like I almost can't really put the words to it, so I probably will hop to the other question because I that's like oh, like I said, that's a whole lot there that can contribute. Like when you are taking care of yourself, and it's almost like when you said that, it was a great facilitation because I'm like, oh yeah. I can just go back to like loving myself and then go from there because people show up all the time. Like, it's like um it's a lot
There's no
of
shortage of people. There's
yeah.
8.1 billion people.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, so this is question two. So what would be miraculous when it comes to sex, and what if sex could actually get greater? So I think this might be so what could we create, explore, experience when we let go of expectations, what it's supposed to look like? So the part where it gets greater, sometimes it looks like what I can sense from this is that like maybe some people when they're together, like in a relationship, long-term relationship, could be 1 year, could be 15 years. It's almost like how could sex continuously get greater for couples?
Hmm. Good question, because that's not what most people have as a reality. And what science says that after 12 months, hormonally, we're no longer in love. Like the hormones that they attribute to love, the dopamine, the serotonin, the all of those joy and connection-based hormones that our body naturally secretes. Then when the novelty wears off for us with that person after what they say about 12 months, I actually think it's probably shorter. For a lot of people, the intimacy goes away. The sexual connection starts to dissipate and disappear, which is why statistically, after that first year, most couples are only having sex like once a month, if that. And that's not wrong. If that's working for you, you're happy, great. But for those who would like something greater, who would like a different reality with this, you've got to keep exploring and asking for something different. And even making sex in your relationship dynamic a priority. There's, both of us facilitate access consciousness classes or have been involved with it. And there's a really cool tool that they give you in the facilitator manual where it talks about for you doing something 1 hour a day that is just for you and a nurturance of you. 1 hour a day and 1 day a week. So, they talk in the manual about that being for your body or for, just like something that really brings you joy. Well, I was speaking with a couple who do that with sex. They make sex for them a priority in their relationship and they will do something together sexually 1 hour a day and 1 day a week. Now, some of you listening are like, wow, an hour a day is a lot, let alone a whole day a week. But they've kind of broadened the definition of sex for them. Like sex for them will be anything that is physically intimate, like cuddling or giving each other a massage or even going for a walk together and holding hands, like making sure that physical intimacy is prioritized for them.
Mhm.
So that's, something to ask. That might work for you, might not. There's another guy who I listen to a lot out there called Dan Savage, and he's got a great podcast called Savage Love. He has a tool that he suggests called Fuck First. And what he means by that is we get so busy, so make sex a priority. So he'll say like, okay, you've planned date night for this week and you're going out for dinner and to see a show. Well, chances are when you get home, you might be a little tired. So have sex before you go. Have sex before you go out for dinner and drinks and get tired. That way, it's a priority. You're making it a choice and it doesn't get pushed down on the list of things that you'd like to have in your life.
Yeah, like the cool thing about that could be it like if you do like sex first, it could be like you get to enjoy more of your partner, 'cause that choice, like having dinner and then going to sleep is one choice. But then if you spend your time and have sex, then it could be reopening that time to spend just more time, like I guess, like in bed, and going back, it sometimes it takes me a while to remember these things, but like for if someone does have an experience, what I kind of find is when I had zero experience, like I bought some books and I read some books.
Yeah,
Your cat was
cool.
saying hello.
Yeah, he was. Latte had to make a cameo appearance.
Nice, nice. Yeah, like I bought some pretty cool books and I read up about it and it helped. So, it was just an interest of mine. So I was just like, oh, and I would just read it and it would help and it would give, a little bit more confidence. But yeah. Um, but yeah, like I guess, I mean, personally, I don't really know how to speak to those long-term relationships because I have found that most relationships, like you said, do kind of things kind of wear out after about a year or two, even four. And then, but it's kind of like, I think as time goes on for me, I think it is like more of an exploration where I'm like, oh, like with access consciousness, it's asking questions. So it could be like, how does it get any better than this? Or what is going on here? Like, do we still want to be together? Do we still want to have sex? Like, can we rekindle this? Or like, could there be an expansion on this to explore more? Because it could be as silly as I was looking at like sexiness or sex for like myself. And it was funny because there's a lot of songs out there. So I started playing music and it was just kind of funny and hilarious. And I was like, oh wow, it could be like just as silly as that. If you have your partner, what if it's like, you know, flirting with your partner in a way that like opens up something different? Like how could you be opening something different for you and your partner whenever fits to like open that up again, you know?
Mm, absolutely.
But yeah, like okay, so yeah. Okay, so we have a couple more questions. So someone else sent in two questions. Uh, what are some great tools or questions for discovering more about you and your partner and your bodies and what else they all could enjoy sexually that you've never considered?
That's a question that I don't really get we can answer. Like if to the questioner who sent this in, if that is your desire and of interest to you, go have fun and explore. Go find out. Because how
Yeah.
that looks for me and how that looks for you and how that looks for them will all be totally different things.
Yeah. Latte looks nice and fluffy.
He's a very fluffy boy and he's very affectionate.
Yeah. And then the second question, which is so cool because it's a great reminder of this. What are the fun ways of playing, pulling energy through your partner and turning on the 5 points in the bedroom? So
Cool. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a tool that we use in Access and it is really quite effective. Like um to create like that flow between each other, we've got to have no barriers. And sometimes people put up a barrier for whatever reason, and it makes it hard for them to receive. So to pull them out of themselves a little bit and get them connected to you, you pull their energy. And some of you out there listening are going, say what? How? What do you mean? All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is connect to them in their bodies. Like for everyone out there listening right now, reach out, connect to everyone in their bodies. Or if there's someone in particular you want to connect to. And visualize if you want to, but it's not required. And just pull massive amounts of energy through them, through their body, from the back of them, from the farthest reaches of the universe, pulling energy through them, through their body, and to you, and through the back of you. Now, this works the best when you're speaking, when you're looking at somebody that is kind of far away and not in your presence. Because ideally, if you want an that flow between you, it's not just about pulling energy from them. It's about having no barrier and gifting them you and your energy and pulling their energy to you so that there's an even exchange and you have this beautiful intimate engagement. So that's that tool. The other tool that this person mentions is flipping on somebody's 5 points. And we all have these 5 points on our bodies that if you flip them on, kind of like a light switch, it tends to turn on their body. So the points are here and here, like the lymph nodes on the outside of the armpits, just slightly tucked under. The solar plexus. Sorry, my cat is like being very adventurous right now. The solar plexus and in the inner thigh on the either side of the genitals, just in the groin. And you flick them on all together at once. Just flick them on and allow that person's body, stay present with their body and allow that person's body to turn on. Believe me, it works. I've done it many times.
That is really cool. I think like anybody listening definitely sense that. Like,
Yeah.
uh yeah, the cool thing about this is like I think the people who sent in questions were like excited to listen to this, and I was chatting about to people earlier and they're like, I'm definitely going to download this episode."
Yay. Yeah. See, to me, sex shouldn't be significant. It shouldn't be scary. Like most people do it for recreation or procreation at best, but I really see that it's a choice for creation, which there's a difference there, you know? A lot of people, they have weird motivations for sex. One of the questioners said used the word like perform and performing, and that's all too common. You know, we want to do a good job so that our partner is pleased with us and happy, or we want to whatever we wanted. You know, we want the validation of someone thinking we're good enough and pretty enough and we're desired and chosen. All of that stuff. But when you actually strip it back and remove all of that, which is just judgment, really it's just this innate way that our bodies have to receive and express joy, to be kind and nurturing and caring and healing. So, you know, you have a choice. You can have that, or you can have something else, or not at all. You don't have to be having sex. I spoke to a lady once who's in her 50s overseas, and she said, I need to ask you a question about sex. And I was like, cool, bring it. And she said, I've never had sex. And is there something wrong with me? And I said, do you want to have sex? And she said, no, not really. I went, okay, cool. You don't have to. She said, really? There's nothing wrong with me? I said, if you're happy, no, there's nothing wrong with you. You do not have to choose sex. And she went, really? Every like modality that I've been a part of, every facilitator that I've met with has tried to like fix me in this area. I'm like, my girl, there is nothing in you that needs fixing. So, what if your sex life could work for you? It didn't have to look like anybody else's, and you just had fun.
That's awesome. Like, thank you, because I love how you covered a lot of different topics because I guess when I look at this topic, it's kind of just also being a space and also being aware and just allowing the person to, yeah, like communicate or be who they are. And there is no right or wrongness. And I really like how you included that you don't have to have sex. I just, uh, love the conversation, and what it is for me is just something to explore. Like the energy is cool, and we could like if we want to like we're not going to extend this podcast another half an hour, but like there's so much that we could like cover because sex can be like an energy, the copulation part of putting the bodies together, that's another thing. And like you said, there's different ways of exploring, whether it's just receiving in many different ways. It's like sex can just be like for me, like it's fun and enjoyable and the conversation's always awesome. Who knows where it's going to go? And everyone has something different to contribute. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, like I said, so what I'll do is I'll put in some links for people who are listening. And Chris, you're an amazing facilitator. Do you have you? I know that class with Gary is like halfway through or nearing the end.
It's nearly done. We've got one more call next week, but I do have a class coming up called In the Beginning, which is the intensive class that I do about sex, and that's happening. um, October 9th, 10th, and 11th in Taipei, but you can join us online if you're not in Taiwan.
Cool. I will share the links for everybody who is listening. And yeah, I definitely recommend like ta a session with Chris, a class. I've taken your classes before. And yeah, the conversations are always amazing and life-changing. And I know this episode definitely will open up a new reality for others too. So thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you, Shauna. Thank you so much.